Some time ago, I heard a story from a friend and colleague who we'll call Paul. This is about something that had happened in his church. The parish he served, we'll call St. Bartleby's, had just rented out one of their rooms to a nonprofit. And this room was located in a really good spot. You had the church over here, you had this other room way over here, completely separate from each other. The nonprofit could do their thing without interfering at all with what the church had going on. Now, this room had been dedicated in honor of a long-standing member of the parish who we'll call Joseph. Now, Joseph had done a lot of work to get the parish, to get St. Bartleby's to where it was today. And another member, who we'll call Richard, had been a big part in making sure that this room, this new room they acquired, was dedicated in honor of Joseph. So as part of that dedication, there was a little plaque on the wall in that room. This plaque, for some reason, was set in a location kind of in the middle of the wall, kind of in a really great spot to hang a picture or something. And that's exactly what this nonprofit did. They wanted to make the space their own, so they hung a picture in this spot where this memorial plaque was, because they wanted to make the place feel like their own. Somehow, through the grapevine, both Joseph and Richard caught wind of what had happened. And both of them were pretty upset. And so they both went to my friend and colleague, Paul, to complain about this. Joseph, while not happy, had his conversation, walked away more or less okay. Richard, on the other hand, was very upset. He even had the gall to say to Paul that if he and Joseph didn't have this legacy of what Joseph had done, this mark to honor his work, they didn't have this legacy, what did they have? Our legacy doesn't really matter. It's not what's important. What's important is what we do, who we are, and whose we are as Christians. So really, the only thing that matters for us is Jesus. And this is really the lesson that we get in our readings today. We see this very clearly in Deuteronomy and in 1 Corinthians, though in different ways. In Deuteronomy, we get Moses talking to the Israelites. Now, the whole book of Deuteronomy is a collection of Moses' last words to the Israelites. This is everything he has to say to them, to prepare them for the future, to prepare them for the way, because Moses very soon is going to be dying. But one of the things he prepares them for is who's going to follow next. Moses lays out what that means for this new prophet and for the Israelites. This new prophet cannot speak in the name of any other God but the Lord. This prophet also can't take his own words and shift them to say, well, actually, no, this is what God is saying. The only thing that the prophet can speak are the words that come to him through God, through our Lord. This is a pretty tall order for both the prophet and the Israelites. It's a good reminder that it's not about us, it's about God. But the really amazing thing, too, is God, in giving these words to Moses, assures the Israelites, assures God's people, that such a prophet, such a person who can speak, not of their own will, not of the will of any other being, but the will of God alone, will rise up among them. In 1 Corinthians, Paul is speaking to a much later age than Moses is. He's speaking to the time just after Jesus' earthly ministry. And in this time, all around the people of Corinth, there are various shrines to these other gods that Moses spoke of. One of the traditions in that time was making food offerings, and eating those food offerings. In some ways, this might have been expected for the people. But Paul assures the Corinthians that it doesn't matter if they eat this food that's been given to these shrines, to these idols, these other pagan gods. What is important is the spirit in which they eat this food. If they eat it as food, just regular food, that's okay. What puts them in danger of being separated from God, of pulling themselves away from God, is if they eat this food in the spirit that it was given for these other deities, that it was given for these false gods. The only thing that matters is the spirit in which they're eating. The only thing that matters is that their souls are directed towards the Lord and nothing else. The only thing that matters, as we see in our readings, is God. That's what we should have our goals set on. Not on any idols or any of those other things that draw us away from the Lord. Our sole focus is to be on God and God alone. In the end, even our own legacy doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're doing the work God has given us to do. All that matters is that we're making our lives and everything we do about our Lord. All that matters in the end is that we're helping to draw people ever closer